Rachna and I'm back with a new lesson. In today's lesson, I'm going to teach you how to use the modal verbs can and could. Well, first of all, we need to remember that verbs that follow after can and could are always in the present form or the first form. Okay, so now we'll take a look at how to use can. Now, can is used when you want to say something is possible or or someone has an ability to do something. For example, he can swim. So, well, in the present, please remember in the present you always use can when you want to say someone has the ability to do something. So, something that is possible in the present or someone who has the ability to do something in the present, we use can. Like you can see the verb after can is swim, which is always in the present form. Alright, let's take a look at another example. He can reach on time. So here it is possible for him to reach on time. He can reach. So we're talking about something in the present, something that is possible in the present. We say he can reach on time. Like you can see, the verb is in the present. Alright. Okay, so when you want to say there is a possibility or someone has the ability to do something in the present, we use the modal verb can followed by a verb in the present form. Now let's take a look at another way to use can. When you want to make a request or permission, or you want to take permission or give permission, you can use can. But friends, please remember this is a very informal way. Yeah, so probably with your friends and family, you can use can. But at your workplace or when you take permission from seniors, always use may. Alright. So here I have an example. Can you switch on the light? So you're making a request. Can you switch on the light? Alright. So here an informal way to say is can you switch on the light. Like you can see the verb again switch is in the present form. In my next example, can I borrow your book? So again in a very informal way you're asking, can I borrow your book? So again, like you can see, borrow is the verb that follows can, which is in the present form. So when you want to make informal request or permission, you can use can. So now let's take a look at how we can use could. Well, there is always this confusion that is could used in the present or in the past. Well, it is used in the present as well as the past, but the situation and the context differs. Okay. So now in the present we use could when you want to make a polite request. Like we learnt, we could use can, right, in the previous example, which is informal. But if you want to make a very polite request, something very formal, it's always better to use could. But please remember, it is not necessary that could is always used in the past tense. Alright. So let's take a look at the examples. Could I have some coffee? So when I'm making a polite request or something very formal, it's better to say could. You can say can, but again for something polite and formal, use could. Okay. In my next example, could I borrow your book? Now in my previous example, I had given you a similar one using can I borrow your book. So something more formal, probably with my colleagues, I prefer using could. Again, like you can see, the verb that follows is have, could I have, which is in the present. Alright, and could I borrow, which is always also in the present. Okay, so now this is where we use could in the present tense to make a polite request. Now let's see how we use could as a past ability or a capability of doing something. Can is used in the present. When you want to say you could do something in the past but probably no longer can do it, you use the word could. Alright. So in my example, John could swim across the river when he was young. Now if you can see, I'm talking about probably John is now a grown up boy. We're talking about when he was a child. So here you will have an indication or something that will say that the time period was in the past. Alright. So John could swim. So here this is a past ability. When he was a child, he could do something. He was capable of doing this in the past. Again, the verb is in the first form or the present form. But this sentence indicates a past ability. In my next example, in my younger days, I could dance for long hours. That means I can no longer do it. Alright, so could dance, the verb follows is always present, but this is an indication of a past possibility. Like here, in my younger days. So words, there will be some kind of words in your sentence which will refer to a past time period. Like in my younger days, when he was young. These kind of examples or these kind of words or words that indicate the past will show you a past ability when you use could. So again friends, remember, not necessary could is always in the past. When you make a polite request in the present, it's always better to use could. And when you talk about something that happened in the past, you will have certain words that will refer to a past time period. Now let's take a look at how we can use could for a past possibility that couldn't happen. Now here the time period has gone. The time, it's completely in the past. So something that could have happened but didn't, we use could. Alright. I have two examples here for you. In my first example, you could have completed. That means this was possible in the past. Probably you chose not to do it. So you could have completed the project last night. Now here the sentence structure is a little different. You use could have with the verb in the third form or the past participle. Okay. So something that was possible in the past but didn't happen, or probably you chose not to do it. You say you could have completed the project last night, means it was a past possibility that didn't happen. This is a little different from the past ability, like he could swim across the river. This is very different from that. This is completely in the past, something that probably was possible but didn't happen. In my next example, they could have reached on time if they had started early. Now again, here we're putting a condition. If you remember, I had done a video on conditionals using if. This is the same. When you want to say it is conditional, if they had started early. That means they didn't start early, so they didn't reach on time. So they could have reached on time if this happened or if they had started early. Again, the structure could have and a past participle verb. Please remember, you have to use have here and then followed by a past participle. So when you want to say something that was possible in the past and didn't happen, you say could have done, could have gone, depending on the situation. Okay friends, this brings me to the end of this lesson. I hope you enjoyed watching it. Well, you can put in your comments and queries if any. I'll be back soon with a new lesson. Till then, take care and bye.